Hey guys, it's me Danielle with Kingdom First Ministries. How are you? I hope you're doing so good. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Hey there. Okay, so as promised, here is day 2, part 2 of the family secret exposed thing. This is not something that I enjoy doing, you guys. This is something that the Lord has asked me to do because of all the lies that have been spoken about me. There's people out there using my identity. I understand that recently learned this. I think it's my sister Erica or one of my cousins. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, they're dressing like me. They're opening up businesses in my name, using my money. Crazy. So will the real Danielle Fuentes Barclay please stand up? Yeah, that's me right here. The real deal, homie, right here. If anyone is looking for me, you know where you can find me. You can find me on this channel. Just email me, Kingdom First Ministries 123. Yeah. Okay. So, yes, and I think that there's certain people watching me right now, literally like hacked on into my phone right now. I rebuke that evil in the name of Jesus, Yeshua Messiah. Yes. Okay, guys. So I am here and trying my best to get this done. Okay, bear with me. We've got traffic. We're gonna have people coming over any minute. I mean, God, who knows what's gonna happen, right? This is Portland. Okay. Okay, I'm doing this because the Lord, the Holy Spirit, has asked me to do so, just to let the truth be known and to hear it from my actual mouth. I hope I don't trigger anyone or disappoint anyone, but this is my life, okay? Or this was my life. So Camille Fuentes Valencia. What's something that's interesting about our middle name, which is Fuentes, it actually is De La Fuente. My great-grandfather was a middleweight prize champion fighter in Los Angeles, California. And they couldn't fit Antonio de la Fuente onto the playbill, so they had to shorten his name to like Tony Fuentes. Look him up; he was a badass. I love that fighter spirit, and he's left that with me for sure. So he was a good one, okay. So my mother, she became pregnant with me at a very young age. I think she was like 19 going on 20. She was like this like nerdy little bookworm woman that, stayed at home all the time, didn't go out. And her cousin said, "Come on, let's go out, Camille, let's go out, Camille, let's go out." And she's like, "No." And then her mom's like, "Honey, mijita, go, you should go. You never go anywhere." Again, this is the story that my mother told me. So she went. She didn't want to tell my grandma that her cousin Rosemary was a total slut at the time. So they go, and it's a frat party at USC, and my biological father happened to be there with his brother. So my biological father's name is Joseph Donovich. Okay, he's Jewish American, and he was visiting his brother. I think it's Frank Donovich, and this was like 1967, right around there. So they met. She says, "Oh, somebody put a Spanish fly in my drink." Like, right, yeah. So they did the boogie, and it was kind of like a star-crossed lover type of a thing, He came from an affluent Jewish family. My mother came from middle-class Mexican-American family, and they would never accept her, basically. So a month later, she realizes that she's pregnant, and she goes back to USC to tell Frank, right, the brother, that she was pregnant, and he was just like, just basically dogged her out. He was just like, "Look, you just forget about it. Like, it's never going to work. We come from affluence. My family is a very powerful family. You don't come from that. You don't know that. It's not going to work. You're just not at the same class. Plus, you're Hispanic. And how do we even know that this is really his baby?" So she was like, "Well, I just wanted him to know. I don't know if he ever found out. I don't know. But apparently someone died on his side of the family and left me some money. And how do I know this? Because God is showing me. And tarot is showing me everything I need to know from those that I trust, okay? Sadly, I can't go to my preacher or a pastor and tell him this kind of story and have them understand. He or she. They just don't get it. They just don't. Sadly. And that's where a lot of us go astray. Anyway, so she gets pregnant. She gives birth February 5th, 1968. she gives me up for adoption. And 2 days later, she decides to take me back. I was immediately adopted by a Caucasian family in Downey, California. I have no idea who they were. There were 2 days of my early life. First 2 days of my life, I have no idea what happened. Anyway, I think during that time, my grandmother convinced my mother to go see the Santeria doctor, and it's a witch doctor. It's like Mexican witchcraft. And they asked about me, and they're like, "Oh, she's going to be abundant. She's going to be a blessing to humanity. Like she's going to be a healer. She's going to be great. She's going to change the world, and anything she touches will succeed." And my mother instantly started hating me right there, right then and there. So I basically grew up. My mother was drinking. You know, my parents split up when I was 5, so my mother was drinking all the time. And when my parents were still married, they would party, you know, but it would be like after 5 or on the weekend, right? So basically, she was just like a drunk. I mean, she was spending our money, our food money, on booze. And I'd wake up every Saturday, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yeah, with like bottles everywhere. You know, she would invite strange men into our home when she had 2 young daughters to take care of. I remember waking up at 5 years old to get some cereal and get my cartoons on, right? And I saw like a trail of clothes, you know, like the bra, the underwear, like the shirt, you know, the trail, you know, and I'm like, and I look, and then there she is with this really young guy, and he's like, "Hi, good morning," and I'm like, I immediately went back to I didn't care, I was hungry, but I went back to my room. I was shocked. So my mother, you know, she did stuff like that. And she was still in love with Doug Bruner for the longest time, and he was toxic for her. He cheated on her, and he married his stepsister. I mean, it's so Jerry Springer, right? Anyway, he was good to me. He was a speedboat mechanic. He was a hardworking man. He was blue collar, German American, Doug Bruner. So I was Danielle Bruner for a long time, like I think until age 16 or something. Then I took on my maiden name, which is Valencia. So anyway, you guys, my mother she never taught me the ways of life. And when my younger sister Erica came in, she's Erica Bruner, okay? So in my mother's eyes, Erica was like the golden child. But to everyone else, like in the community and things like that, I was the golden child. I didn't even want to be the golden child, but in school, I was always an A student. I was always teacher's pet. I won for most talented at Nightingale Junior High School. You know, I was almost won prettiest girl, by this much, but they cheated. I'll never forget it. Who was it? Gabby. I will never forget that. Yeah. And then her best friend, Monica. Yeah, they ended up getting it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'd rather be most talented than the prettiest, you know? So, and I am. So I'm so thankful for that. You know, I remember, you know, like trying to get to school, like in first grade. My mother never took us to school. She never drove us, even if she had a car. We always had to walk by ourselves. I had to walk a mile to school every single day by myself, mind you, in Los Angeles, 6 years old. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I come home and she's just like in the bed, and the place is a wreck. My little sister Erin was in the corner there, and Erin was one of my bridesmaids in my wedding, by the way. She was the one that I had forgotten. Anyway, Erin's there like 6 years old, 5 years old, playing with her toys in the corner. Like it was just like in a hotel room. Like it was just awful. My mom could not take care of us. And even she said, she goes, you know, somebody should have called the authorities on me. You girls didn't deserve that, right? I will never forget that. I mean, it's just awful. And I remember that one time I was pregnant with Danica Ryan, may she rest in peace. I was 19, and I'm like, whoa, I'm like way out here. It's like seriously like a beach ball, right? I thought I had twins. We didn't have ultrasounds back then. Anyway, I was on the bus. It was the hottest in Hollywood, California back then. It was so hot. I was in the Melrose district. My sister and I trying to find a place to live. Like it was just awful. And finally, thank God, we found a place and everything was good. But it was literally one of the hottest days that it had been in Los Angeles for like over 20 years. So my mother never thankful. Even if I gave her like a Mother's Day gift, or if I worked really, really hard on a card, or I remember I found like this wooden like sculpture thing, and it had like a beautiful rose on it, and I worked on it. I sanded that little sucker. I stained it. Like I saved up my quarters, and I was like painting it. I was so proud to give it to her, and she was like, "Oh, huh, nice." You know, she didn't even stop to realize, like, anyway. So it just, whatever, she was always very critical of me. I remember when I was 13, somebody had discovered me with modeling, right? And when I was younger, they always just, the Mexican-American kids that I went to school with were like, "Hey, you look like Brooke Shields, eh?" And because I had like the bushy eyebrows, and I had my hair up, and it was long, and I loved to wear Calvin Klein jeans. "Hey, you look like Brooke Shields, eh?" I was like, "No, do I really? Oh, thank you." You know, and that was like Blue Lagoon back in those days. So, but I had a lot of that. So it came time where some people wanted to see some pictures of me. And so we had a family friend to come and take some photos of me. He had a DSLR at the time, and everything was going great. Like I wanted to be a model. I wanted to do something with my life, you know. And my mother, I'll never forget, she was just like, she's like the wicked mother, the evil stepmother in Cinderella, okay? And I'm Cinderella. She's like, "You know what? You better make sure that you keep those grades up, because if those fall even down to B's, you cannot do this anymore. And you better keep up on your chores, and you better help your sisters, and you better, and if not, I'm pulling this sucker away from you." And I was like, you know? And so I bowed out. I said, "You know what? That's too much pressure for me. If that's what it's going to be, then it's not fun for me anymore." Oh yeah, and I had to lose like 15 pounds. All at like age 14, right? 13, 14. And I looked good. I wasn't like fat or anything, but she made it so hard for me so that I wouldn't do it. And my mother made so many things hard for me. Like, you know, she used to beat the living hell out of me, which was a bad example because it taught me, you know, about family abuse. But then I grew up Mexican American. Everybody got their asses beat. You know, if you don't get pinched, then you get your hair pulled, or, you know, like hit upside the head, or, you know, like, "I'm gonna hit you, you know, you better shut up or I'm gonna hit you." Like, that's how they would talk, and people would laugh. You know, the grown-ups, they'd be like laughing and drinking and you know. So anyway, so yeah, she just, you know. And I remember my old friend Rick Ramirez. He's in Palm Springs. He works for Pixar, if Pixar still is a thing. Anyway, if you're watching, hi Rick, I miss you, babe. I love you. Anyway, so that was like the time, okay, in Los Angeles at the time, it was like the punk rock revolution. We had like a lot of exciting bands. He was like, "Danielle, you need to come with me. You know, let's go see X. Like, Gary Newman is coming," and, you know, like all of the bands, you know, all of the bands that were really, really hot in that genre at that time. You know, I'm trying to think, it was Flock of Seagulls, we had X, we had the Cramps, we had Blondie, we had Gary Newman, who else? There were so many, and it was all exploding, and I would always ask her, "Can I please go?" No, and no. Everything was always a no. I mean, I came home from school at fifth or sixth grade, and my best friend at the time, Michelle Montoya, she was like, "Oh, let's stop off at the Sunshine Store. Let's get some candy. I'm buying." So for $1, you could get like one of those little, like, one of these little bags, you know, those little small bags, and fill it up with like Bubblicious, like apple sticks, Chica sticks, like, you know, Mexican candies and suckers, and like, you know, the tamarind, and, you know, it was like you could get a lot in there. Today that would probably cost at least $10, right? So I'm like, "I don't know, Michelle, I better hurry. My mom's gonna get mad at me." And she's like, "Oh, come on, you know, you always are like this. Let's just go have some fun." I'm like, okay. So I went, and literally I was running up this hill. We lived in a place called Montecito Heights in Los Angeles, California, and I'm running home, and it was like at least a 3-mile walk, right? And I'm running, and I'm scared, and I'm sweating, and I'm crying, and I'm terrified because I knew what was waiting for me. I was 15 minutes late. My mom, you know, I had really long hair back then, and so she just, we had a sliding glass door that led us into our house, and it had like curtains. She was hiding in the curtains. This is before cell phones, okay? She's hiding in the curtains, and I didn't see her. I thought I could sneak in. As soon as I walked in, she just wrapped that thing around my hair around her, and she began to mop my face against the wall. And we had like this trim line, like the old-fashioned like 90s or 70s version, 80s, 80s. My head hit the phone. I mean, it was a long, probably at least 20-foot wall, and she's bashing me and bashing me and bashing me against the wall, and I'm like getting disoriented, you know, and I was already worked up because I was so scared, right? And anyway, she beat the living hell out of me, and then she threw me on the floor, and she starts kicking my back, and then I started to like, I don't know, I felt like it was my spleen. That's what I got at the time, spleen. And I'm like, and then all of a sudden the blood's on the floor. I'm like, Mom, there's blood. She's like, get out of my sight. I mean, I'm like crawling. I'm like a wounded animal or something, you know. You better get your homework done. I better see nothing less than A's. You understand me, or else you're gonna get more of this. That kind of stuff. She would do that to my little sister. I mean, she took her anger out on us, and I understand that she lost both of her parents. She lost, you know, her husband. You know, all these things. I understand, but she was just evil. Like, and I would think to myself, like, you know, how can I love someone like this? You know. Anyway, I never cursed her out. I never said anything bad to her. I never did witchcraft on her. I only tried to help her. But the whole time, she's just, I can see now, looking back, and after all the things that God has shown me, she just hated me. And it's because she had a curse put on her before I was even born, and she was trying to do an exchange. She was the one who was doing the destiny swapping with me, in addition to my ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. I don't even know their status right now. So remember that time I told you? She was laying on the sofa. I was 5 years old. It was right after the divorce. She was drinking like a fish. We were at her best friend's house, Bunny and Santo, Caravello, and I went downstairs to say goodnight, and my mom is there on the sofa, and she's, you know, she's olive complected. She looked like a grayish blue, okay? And I remember telling my Auntie Bunny, what's wrong with my mama? What's wrong with mommy? Oh, never mind. Go back upstairs, mijita. I'll see you in a little bit, okay? You know, just, it's okay. She's going to be fine. Don't worry. But I knew something was wrong, and God let me see that for a reason. And what was she saying? No. She's like, no, 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 no. Take her. Take her instead. Take her instead. Take her. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. Seriously, she was like arguing with Satan or something. I don't know, but her life was being required of her or something like that. But yeah, so she put it on to me, and I didn't know. And, you know, we didn't talk about witchcraft. You know, we didn't even go to church. My mom was the black sheep of her family, and, you know, we were just unchurched. And she just would read the Bible to us, or we would read it ourselves, or she would share with us, or we would see her pray, like during times of trouble or whatever. So, you know, and experiences that I've had with God, even at a younger age, you know, praying for my sister and I, because we were in the dark, because the electricity got cut out. There was no food. We were cold. It was winter. And I remember seeing evil spirits there. And I'm trying to protect my younger sister, Erica, at the time. It was just awful. But I remember I made them go away. But anyway, God made them go away. So, I mean, it was a very strict household. Like, I mean, my mom would play music and stuff, but only the music that she wanted. Or whenever we would watch movies, it always had to be things that she wanted. She liked to read these books, like, they would rival, like, Harry Potter, right? And she was really fascinated with, like, the samurai. And, you know, and as she got older, you know, she didn't do volunteer work, you know? She never did volunteer work. She didn't try to help her fellow man. She didn't go to church. She didn't take us to the recreation center. She didn't do anything. She just let us do whatever the heck we want. But then again, a lot of us in Gen X, that's what they're called feral. We're feral, the feral generation, right? she didn't do a damn thing. She never helped me with my homework. She never made me my favorite food on my birthday. She, you know, oh yeah, okay, thank you, Holy Spirit. So I was 13 years old, right? And I didn't want to wear a bra. And my mother was like, oh, well, you need to be wearing a bra now. And I was a handball champion at the time, you know. I was like, woo! I was like, whoa, could you pow, could you pow, could you pow, 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 pew, pew, pew. And I'll never forget it. It was boys against the girls. It was the last day of school, and it was me against this other guy. I forget his name. He was so cute. And I'll never forget. It was my shot, and I went like this, and my bra went here, and I'm like, I couldn't breathe. It was so painful, and I was convinced that everyone had seen. So I just had to like forfeit the game, and I'll never forget my opponent though. He was like, really? Like he's like, are you sure? Like he really wanted to play me. He wanted to play me. And I just left. I was so mortified that I'd taken all the joy, the thrill, and the excitement of like the competition that I was, you know, I beat all the other boys and I'm finally at the number one, and then I have this experience. Like it was just awful. So, you know, that was one example. So my 13th birthday party, my mother gave me this beautiful box, a beautiful outfit with underwear and everything, and she said, you cannot come to your party unless you're going to be fully dressed. And I didn't want to wear the bra, and there had not been any conversations about it or anything like that. And so I held out for about 3 hours. My mother didn't invite any of my friends. It was not a kid-friendly party. She invited all of her gay friends from the answering service, A Better Connection with Stuart Cox, who was a person that owned that at the time from Hollywood. They were all of her friends. No, none of mine, just me and my sister. So I held out for like a few hours, and by the time I finally got up there, everyone was already like drunk and stuff. My mom was. So I had to get dressed. My sister couldn't even bring me food. She's like, no, you cannot bring her food. And it's my birthday. She acted like it was her birthday. So I finally got dressed, right? Because what was I gonna do? I was hungry. And it was my birthday. I went upstairs. Okay, so I was downstairs, and I went upstairs. And as soon as I get to the top, my mother's like, oh my God, I can't believe it, my baby, look, she's wearing a bra. It's her first bra. Oh my gosh, I died 1,000 deaths. I almost went back downstairs, and I'm so thankful to Marty Kaler, who may he rest in peace right now. He passed away due to AIDS, unfortunately. Sorry guys. Anyway, may he rest in peace. He immediately got hold of me. He put his arms around me. He's like, it's okay, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. She's been drinking too much. Please, just don't let this ruin your day. Come on, honey. Look, let's go find you some food. Are you hungry? You know? Okay, I'm back. So you know, he's like, are you hungry? Do you want some food? I'm so thankful to Marty Kaler because he's the one that could see what was going on, you know? I hated wearing a bra, and ever since from that moment on, I hated my boobs. I hated growing. I hated becoming a woman, a young woman. I wanted to just be this really cool, like, preteen that I was, you know? Athletic, straight A student, popular, fun, you know, drill team captain at Latona Avenue Elementary, woo, in Highland Park. You know, I had friends that were gang members from the Avenues and Clover, and yeah, I was a surfer girl the whole time, but anyways. So those are just some examples of how my mother chose to raise me. And when it finally got time for me to have a boyfriend, okay, his name was Mark Garcia, and Mark Anthony Garcia, my first love, right? And one day I asked my mom, I said, Mom, when do you know? When do you know? How do you know when it's okay to have sex for the first time? Like, and she was just like, well, you'll know. You'll have a feeling. You'll be able to figure it out. So I came back like a month later. I'm like, well, guess what? I had sex for the first time. You know, me and Mark did it, and it was terrible. It was awful. It really was, actually. He didn't know what he was doing. He was 15. He was 16. Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah. I was 13. He was 15. I had zero guidance from my mother at like Nothing. There were no school counselors back then. You know, I thought that it was what I was supposed to do. Like, I didn't know. I didn't know. Again, we were not churched. I wasn't taught that it was bad. Well, my grandmother, my great-grandmother Nellie, may she rest in peace, if she even made it. What did she say? At a very young age, I mean, like from the age of like 4 and 5, she's like, "Don't ever have sex, mijita." I was like, "What's that, Grandma?" She's like, "You know, when the man and the woman, they get married and they get naked and they lay in the bed?" And I was like, "Oh." She was a Mexican beauty queen, by the way. I'm kind of exaggerating, but she was like, "No. And if you have sex, you're going to hell." I was like, so it was a conflict, and a lot of Catholic girls. That's why Catholic girls have like such a bad reputation, because our parents scare us half to death about sex to the point where we want it even more, like just to be rebellious, you know, just to say, you know. So then I was looking for love in all the wrong places. My dad was nowhere to be found. I finally saw him again when I was 16. I said, "What happened to you?" And he was like, "Your mom made it too hard for me. I couldn't come. She was jealous of my love for you girls because I didn't feel the same way about her anymore." So yeah, so she cut off a chance for us to have a good relationship. My sister Erica still has a relationship with him, but not me. My mother never wanted me to have anything. Even when I made it for drill team captain, I worked so hard for that, you guys. Every day walking up those hills and just marching, and just trying to make sure I got my pom-poms good and everything. And you know, I really wanted that, and to think that I was chosen for number 1, you know. There was no celebration, there was no mention. She just ignored the whole thing. I was like, "Mom, I'm the drill team captain. I won the competition." She was like reading her books as usual. She's like, "Oh, that's nice." I mean, and when it came time for me to graduate from junior high school, we called it junior high school back then. Now it's middle school. Again, one of the most popular girls, right? And my mother, she made no efforts to get me a graduation dress, to have me have a party, to celebrate me, even if it's just a dinner with the family, right? Anyway, she was like, "Well, it's just a piece of paper." But I didn't realize that. I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "I don't have any money." You know, I should have talked to my old friend Kim and said, "Can you help me?" I should have asked for help from other parents, but I really believed what she said. She goes, "It's just a piece of paper. It doesn't mean anything." It meant so much, and it meant so much to my friends too. My friend Kim, she was like, "Danielle, your presence was really missed. Like, it wasn't the same without you. Like, people were mad at me." Anyway, that's another example. Or the times when I had to, you know, hide myself because I had marks on my body. I mean, it left me very insecure. And I really believe that my mother did that to me by design, because the truth is that if you don't have that connection with the very first person that you're meeting, that's your mother, right? The first woman that you'll ever love. And just as a baby, listening to the cues and the sounds and the feeling and the warmth, and you know, we can feel it. She purposely kept that away from me because I think it was some sort of a weird like mind programming thing or something, where because kids that are raised to not feel that love or to feel accepted and they feel rejected, that's what they're set up for the rest of their lives. So yeah, I'm going to be doing another series on that. So I just realized this and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I may not have made the best choices with my own kids, but let me tell you something. I homeschooled my kids, okay? When they were being bullied in school because they're so smart and so cute and so well dressed and everything, you know, because they're starseeds, right? They were always being picked on, and I gladly, I homeschooled my kids. I took care of them. I did the best that I could, and I loved my kids. It's just I was in such a messed up situation with my marriage, and I had no family support, even though I had family. And then I ended up becoming like my own mother. Like, I was just horrified to even know this. And I had admitted it, and I had said I was sorry before, but again, I was always treated like I had done something wrong, always. Very critical spirit, right? Jezebel spirit. So I always had this weird feeling like I could never succeed, or I would dare dream, like, before she would yank it away from me. Just like in Cinderella, you guys, I'm telling you, just like in freaking Cinderella, I'm telling you. No different. No wonder I love that movie so much. That one and Sleeping Beauty. was like, gosh, why do I relate to this? Why does this resonate? I don't know, but I like it. That was me. Now I know. Anyway, so Camille Fuentes Valencia, you know, she ended up becoming an older lady. She moved to Bell Gardens, California, in Los Angeles, which is a suburb of Los Angeles for Latinos. And my sister Erin was living with her. And Erin tried to get married and have kids, and she tried to replicate my life, but it wasn't meant to be for her. She suffered domestic violence and became a meth addict and started shoving up meth into her daughter's noses because she needed someone to party with. Her kids were 3 and 4. Yeah. So my mother's like, oh, I've got to rescue. So my sister tried to leave with her kids, okay? My sister, I don't blame her all the way because my mother didn't teach her how to live life either. She wanted her to fail. The only one that she wanted to see succeed really was Erica. And she's the one that's working in cahoots right now with my mother to unalive me, to take my money. And I learned today that anyone that said, you know, I'm gonna go tell Danielle, this is messed up. You know, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this to her. She's too sweet. She's too nice. She would have shared it with you. Like, all of a sudden, boom, they're gone. Boom, another one gone. As they're trying to come and tell me. Stranger than fiction, right? You know, honestly, you guys, the way I feel is I don't even care about the damn money anymore. I mean, it's like, if that's how they're going to be, then let the money rot, you know? But God tells me, no, that is yours. I'm like, but he's like, no. This is ancestral inheritance. This is real life actual money that's coming forth into the 3D from your spiritual inheritance. And I was like, and for the people that participated in this whole thing, you're not just taking money from me. This is what my ancestors toiled for. They worked many millennia. It was being stored up and stored up and stored up. It wasn't meant for somebody to come and steal. And that's why my ancestors are all over them. They can't sleep. They're going crazy. Seriously. So I know it's only a matter of time. I'm looking for an attorney that's willing to work with me pro bono. God is telling me to start proceeding and checking into everything, and now I will. I just had to get over the shock of everything and all this betrayal. Like, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I didn't want to believe it, even though I've cut these people out of my life years ago. And once I divorced Brad, you know, I thought I could depend on my family, but no. And the last conversation I had with my sister Erica, because I was trying to reach Camille, no wonder she never wanted to talk to me. No wonder she didn't want to come and move over to Oregon and bring the kids together so we could all like be a family. It's all making perfect sense. Anyway, another thing I'm going to say is that my first husband, Miles Rieger, he told me one time, I'll never forget. He was like, does your mom and your uncle kind of mess around? Do they kind of do the boogie a little? I was like, no. I was like, how could you say such a thing? That's no. He's like, well, babe, I got something to tell you. And I was like, what is it? He was like, I saw them making out. I was like, no. You must have been drinking way too much. Like, no. He's like, I wouldn't lie to you. Again, I didn't want to believe it, but I believe it now. So my mother's been living with my uncle, Edward William Valencia, for years now. Over 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's almost like they're like a married couple, right? Anyway, okay, yeah. So they took Erin's kids, and Erin now goes by Gigi, and it's Sophia and Kendall. And they're like young preteens now. And I remember saying to my ex-husband, I said, I hope my uncle doesn't try to molest them, because he tried to do it to my daughter Mackenzie when she was a 4-month-old baby. And I caught him grooming her like with weird music and taking her back into like the room, like, and then when I got a vibe, you know. I went in there, I'm like, where's the baby? And then he's looking at me like he was caught in what he did. I went into the kitchen, I said, do you know what just happened right now? Uncle Eddie, he was trying to mess around with Mackenzie. Went into a whole thing, and my mother was like, get out of here, get out right now. How dare you say that about your uncle? I was like, well, it happened. And my sister Erica was there. No, that he would never do that. So it just, you know, I just got tired of it all. I got tired of their narcissism, got tired of their alcoholism. My mother started drinking with Erica when Erica was 14 years old, so she could have a drinking buddy. My sister said she became an alcoholic at the age of 6. She was married for 20 years to Roberto Ocaña. They had one daughter named Zoe Ocaña. Zoe's gay. Now Erica's gay, which is not a big deal, but it was just the way that it all went down. And then once she became gay, she had this attitude. Like, I'll never forget talking to her on the phone the last December. I'm like, dude, I'm homeless. She's like, oh my God. Anyway, you know, by the way, you know, I'm like, my daughter had just passed away, and she's like, well, do you have any money? I'm like, no, I'm freaking homeless. What do you expect? What are you gonna do? Well, we're probably gonna cremate her and this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, I just make sure I get some ashes, right? No, I don't think I'm gonna get any ashes. Maybe I will. Maybe when I sue them, I will. Anyway, so Erica was just, she was married to Roberto. They lived in Henderson, Las Vegas. And she was just like a cafe girl. You know, she always worked at the cafe. She could always get a job as a waitress wherever, and just kept a little bit of money in her pocket. She was addicted to methamphetamines for many, many years. She went to treatment. I supported her in her treatment, had her come stay with me and Brad at our place, and she was just crazy, man. You know, and the thanks that I got was a lunch pail in my face. Boom. She was just like, you know, F you, B. You know. So yeah, so it's just rampant drug addiction and alcoholism that runs in my mother's side of the family. It skipped me. I'm not that. You know, I can be 420 friendly. I'm trying to work on that. But to me, it's just, I don't take any pharmaceuticals. I don't do that kind of stuff. Like, I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to give up smoking. I know it's terrible, but I've been so stressed out. So I've got my, you know, the vape. I'm trying to like transition off. So those are my vices, okay? I'll be perfectly 100% honest with you. I don't do fentanyl. I'm not a drug addict like they say that I am. I'm not a meth addict. Yes, I do have a missing tooth right here. I've done a video on that, but it's not because I'm a drug addict, okay? Because I'm not, never have been. My mind is right. My health is good. As you can see, you know, I'm looking good, praise God. You know what I mean? And so they told the courts, or they told the lawyer, or they told whoever it was, the probate lawyer, that I was incompetent, that I could not handle my children, that I could not handle the money, that I would just blow it away, that I'm homeless and I'm on drugs and I'm a prostitute. That's what they said. Those are big, bold face lies, okay? I'm not. I'm still celibate. I've been celibate since the first week of April. So yeah, woo, yay. And I feel good. I don't feel like I'm not letting my flesh control me. I'm saving myself for marriage. And how many suitors came to talk to my mother or my aunt or who knows, whatever elders that there were in my family. And they were like, well, what do you think about Danielle? You know, I'd really like to date her. I'm thinking about maybe even marrying her. Oh no, you don't want to do that. She's a prostitute. She's dirty. She's crazy. Like, you know, and how many guys like were turned away because my mother never wanted me to have love. She didn't want me to be married. She didn't want me to have a family. She didn't want me to have success. She didn't want me to be beautiful. She didn't want me to be healthy. She didn't want me to be strong. She didn't want me to have a good life. She didn't want me to even be here. But the reason why I'm here is because she's been siphoning off my energy. And so her and whoever, whatever coven that they created, I just still don't understand how they take it and then they share it. I don't know. Kind of like the same with sex magic. So if someone were to have sex with me, say, or this is what happened with my ex-boyfriend Marcus, he would have sex with me and then he would go and have sex with them. to share my energy. I'm like 90% convinced that Marcus had sex with my mother, and again, I'm sure it's probably part of a agreement, because nobody else would want her because she's so fat and she's so ugly, and she can still make herself look good, but she's old. I mean, she's like 70, almost 77 years old. Sex parties, swingers parties, and just because she had this money, this clout, everybody would service her, you know? My money. Really God's money, right? Disgusting. Just absolutely disgusting. So that's how they do it, you guys. I've been feeling them pulling on my energy a lot in the past few days. Like with my solar plexus, my heart, I felt my heart hurting. I felt my solar plexus. And then one night, it was just like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I was getting aroused, right? And I wasn't watching anything or listening to anything or thinking about anything to make me, sorry guys, I wasn't even thinking about sex, okay? It just came on. And I know that that's when they're doing that sex magic, right? So if you feel that way, don't give in to that, I'm telling you, because they will use your essence. Your essence is your physical essence. I don't know how it all works. I still have to do the research, but I don't want to. It's so disgusting. I'd rather be manifesting my beautiful new life with my new love. But yeah, this is what they've been doing. And so I felt really out of sorts. I felt tired, but I'm still doing my videos. I'm still getting up every day, praise God. I'm still getting dressed. I'm still here. So every day that I'm still here is a form of resistance in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, Messiah. Glory be to his name. You guys took everything from me. I have nothing else left to lose. Yeah, and we know what that means. So either way, I win because justice is coming. God is with me. I know that there are certain timelines and deadlines that are happening. I know that certain people want to erase me from existence as a whole. God has revealed that to me, and I'm not the only one. Many chosen. The Satan is coming after all of us like this. I'm just the one that's talking about it because I'm being obedient. So yeah, in the ether news, yeah, they're trying to erase us, you guys. They have created clones that look like us, and because we did not conform, the people that were in charge of us, or whatever government experimental MK stuff that they were doing, they were creating it's like a Frankenstein, right? And so that if this could be the chosen one in their family, and they have full control over this person, that's what they really wanted. And so they would give my ex-boyfriend would take my energy and then go give it to this, not even a real human, a real clone, okay? Yes, they do exist. Please go look it up. So then they just, especially if you start to get homeless or if you become alcoholic or drug addict, then you just kind of fade out and eventually die. I've seen it happen. Lynette Gutierrez was a family friend of ours. Beto Gutierrez was her husband. He was a sheriff in Los Angeles. His real name is... I rebuke that evil in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, Messiah. Gilberto Gutierrez. Yeah, I think he may be working with my mom. I don't know, but he was my first love's. Okay, Beto, he was going out with Lynette. Lynette was sisters with my first boyfriend, Mark. So it was we were all hang out and stuff, and it was fun. And then they divorced, and she became an alcoholic, and then she just faded out. She faded, and that's what they want us to do. I'm not going to do it. That's why I'm here doing this video right now. Do you think I like talking about my dirty laundry? No. Do I like talking about my mother and my exes and everything? I don't like it. Okay, I'd rather just leave it I'd just rather leave it in the past. But if the Most High God tells me to do something, I'm gonna do it, okay? It's just the way it is. So if you don't like what I'm saying, well then, yeah, you don't like what I'm saying. Too effing bad, okay? Too effing bad. You didn't think that I would find out? You didn't think that God would tell me everything? Yeah, God was gracious to me to like give it to me like softly, like a little bit at a time. Like if I had learned all of this like at once, it would have, boom, I talk about fading, right? For real. But God is still showing me truth after truth after, and it's awful. But if you ask God for the truth, if you're in a situation that's kind of similar to mine, because there's so many of us in the United States right now with stolen inheritances and, you know, people doing witchcraft for money and you know, gang stalking for money, like, you know, if you are like me at all in any way like that, please do your research, talk to the Lord, get into your meditation, find out what's going on, because I'm telling you, it's happening. They want to erase us, but God's not going to let it happen. So I will come back and I will do video after video after video, and I will expose every single one of those sons of bitches. I will do it. I will do it, because the truth needs to be spoken, and enough is enough. I've had it. I was kind to you guys. When I had money, I would always share with you. We went on vacations to Disneyland. We were at the resort in Anaheim, okay? $500 a night. I tried my best to help my sisters. My sister Erin kind of faded out. Like, I don't really have much to do with Erin anymore. I know that she was in prison for meth, and I know, right? I'm so proud. But these are my half sisters, you guys. They're not my full sisters. We all had different fathers. Erin wanted to be a prison minister, and I hope I hope she got what she wanted, and I hope that she's happy today. And if you're watching, Erin, please know that I still love you. So again, I choose to like forgive all of them for what they've done. I bless them and I release them. I just give them into God's hands, because I can't do this anymore. I'm still going to be happy. I'm still going to be me. Am I shocked? Yes. Am I hurt? Yes. Am I crying? No, not anymore. No. Am I healing? Yes. And you can too. But yes, family really does do this, and sometimes your family is not even your real family, or else why else would they treat you this way? Narcissism? Yeah, that sounds about right. But I'm probably not even from here anyway. I don't know all the 411 on that, but I know that this place is not my original home. I rebuke that evil in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, Messiah. You see, they don't want me talking about this, but they won't touch me. They can't touch me. They've been banished from my energy. Anyway, you guys, let me just wrap this up. It's a long video, but thank you so much for tuning in. I will have more. I know it's the happy story for tonight, right? Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And until next time, be good, stay blessed, and keep the kingdom first. Mwah!